Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing tonight? We are over near Aspen, over here in the mountains around Aspen, and we're going to be doing a bit of VOR flying tonight. I have the regularly, words are hard, aspirated, or naturally aspirated Bonanza here from Black Square. This thing, I think we did a stream on it, or at least I did a one other flight with this aircraft and got everything set up on it, and it actually flew really well. I was pretty pleased with it last time. Done a little VAT sim on it, I think the same day, and we're pretty happy with it. So nothing too crazy tonight in terms of what we're doing, but the terrain and this weather that we have could make things a little interesting. So we're going to be starting over here at Harriet Alexander and kind of doing this box. There appears to be this box right here, and we're going to be flying off from the east and heading into the mountains, and it kind of opens up over here. I'm not sure exactly what this valley would be called, but then we're going to head back to the north and head on over to the Red Table VOR, which is super famous for Aspen. This is my favorite time of year to fly in Aspen because the weather makes it so much more fun. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, we'll cover it. The airport we're currently at, nope, not that one. This one does not have any VORs attached to it, so we're basically going to head off to the west and pick up this Blue Mesa VOR here on 114.9, and then that should get us relatively close to the what is this, Gunnison Crested Butte Regional Airport. Do some touch goes there, and we could really visually follow this lake out, and that should get us to the next airport. We'll go ahead and tune the VOR and get that in there as a backup, but this one should actually be a pretty nice visual approach into that airport. Leaving here, once we get over these tall mountains, it's going to open up into this kind of flatter area here. There's a bunch of ranches, and that should help us identify that one. And then we'll take a look at the rest of it once we get airborne. But most of these airports, except for the famous one, the last one, Aspen, are in relatively open areas, so they should be pretty easy to spot. But we'll see. I've got Dev and Eddie tonight, and no GPS. I've got Navigraph pulled up on my other screen over here. It is telling me there's a software update needed. We're going to wait. And then I'm going to turn off moving maps over here so that we have no aid other than our VORs. Usual set of rules. I'm gonna try and just use this screen for your all's viewing pleasure. It's a little easier, just hit tab and pops right up. So Tessa Van der Merk, hello, how are you? Okay, let me get unmuted here and get back in here and get started, and I think Dev need a little assistance with some stuff tonight, and we'll see how we can get it sorted out. Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
You know what? I don't remember what kind of walk around they have, but
There's not a very good one, so I just didn't worry about it, and it's fine.
yeah, I don't see any chalks. Was there a pedo cover by chance? The only thing I'd be really worried about is there is, but it was already off. Okay, cool. Looks pretty good on the outside here. All right. Let's go ahead and grab our tablet. We are all old school here. We got a weather radar, which I don't know if it actually works. And so we're using the KX 155s. The rest of these options are pretty normal. Payload, we've got 60 gallons total. That should be more than enough for what we're doing tonight. And got 2 people in the aircraft. And a little bit of baggage in the back. Engine's 100% condition. And that should take care of all that. The normally aspirated engine should make it a little interesting on the power climbing in and out of these airports, which is kind of why I picked it. So it should be pretty fun there. I feel like I got some sort of a stutter going on here. No? Okay. Weird. Maybe it's just the camera.
Oh no.
What?
My chart subscription has gone bust.
Thought you bought the
you
year.
got to give me VORs.
I
thought
posted
you did too.
everything. I posted everything in the schedule channel. The flight plan and the VOR. And if you still have your what's the professional version of Sunbrief, or not Sunbrief, but Navigraph, the real world. Oh my gosh.
Oh, plate.
The
Oh
one
my
that-
gosh.
Well, the one that everybody uses.
The one that, yeah, it's not hooked up to the sim right now, but I can use
Okay.
it. Yeah,
I was about to
I'll
say,
just
use that if you still have a subscription to it.
I do.
All right,
yeah.
batteries on. Avionics Masters off, load is on. Primary, we're gonna go beacon nav. Those are off. Let's go full power, full mixture. Low pump for 3 seconds. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Turn that off. Just to get us a little prime. Just a double check. Probably should check this first. We're on the left tank. And otherwise, beacon nav's on. And parking brake is it pull for off or pull for on? Pull for on. Okay, parking brake set. Let's go ahead and start. Just crack the throttle. Start. Alright, got nothing. Let's do a little more priming. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Come on. What am I forgetting? Okay. Let's just check fuel pressure real fast. Make sure we're actually getting fuel flow. Yeah.
Center number 222 hotel wing is looking to get VFR to Aspen information.
You using the same
it
things?
Sorry, my push meet's not working. 1 moment. Yes, I am.
There she goes. And look for 1,000 RPM. I must not have primed it enough. Look for RPM drop. Right there. And we're leaning for the ground. Okay, cool. Sorry, that was a little challenging. I'm not used to starting this engine, so I'm a little out of practice. Alright, that means our alternator can come on. Our avionics masters can come on. Not going to worry about the AC. We will have just a blower on low. Outside our temperature is pretty chilly, so we will crack the cabin heat just a touch. Otherwise, standby vent blower. Everything else is good to go. Okay, cool. Our first VOR. So we're going to depart. Let's just do a quick heading check here. So we are facing 160. How do I... That's close. Is this HSI slaved? I think it is. We're going to be leaving here on... Does this give us a heading? Rather than just west? No? Okay. It gave me 262 on the actual Navigraph. That's one thing the tablet version here doesn't have. I'm good, minus my feet hurting from walking a lot. Where'd you walk to? So 262. Let's go this way. 2612. And we'll heading bug over as well. I'm pretty sure this is slave because that HSI has moved a touch. So it's on slave at the moment, so I think we're okay. All right. And our first VOR frequency is 114.9. And anybody who's not familiar with VORs, you can usually get that right here. So the HBU 114.9. So we'll dial that in for our Nav1 radio. 114.9. Swap that over. And then our next one is going to be 117.1. So we'll go ahead and dial that in. So we have it handy. And what we'll do here is go 117.1. Swap that over to our secondary. So our secondary will pop up here, our primary will pop up here. So we're actually already getting a little bit of a signal. from the, you can see the needle moving around right there. So it should be good to go. All right, the winds at this airport. And so VFR conditions, the winds are 270, 19 gusting 28. Okay, we'll see how long this lasts with live weather. And that's going to
I'm already up. It's very bumpy.
It's going to put us off 2-4. So from our current position, we're going to turn to the left, taxi out Alpha 4. We'll do an intersection departure at Alpha 4. All right, how's that old temperature doing? So the head temperature is almost in the green. And
you
the
appeared
temperature is in the green.
What the heck?
So we are good to go on all those things. Let's just bump that RPM just a touch. Pressure's good, so I can bring that power up just a touch there. All right, we're gonna go altitude reporting at 1200, and I'm not gonna worry about the weather radar. I don't know how accurate, if at all, it's gonna be. We do have oxygen. Current altimeter, I did not grab that, is 2978. Niner 1278 and 2978. And it gives us an altitude of 7,450 feet. 7,450. Don't need oxygen just yet. We may need it at some point. Like, speaking of oxygen, cabin, we have a full tank of O2, so good there. I believe this is a non-pressurized cabin, and that's what it appears to be. So we'll just be using our little nose pieces for the oxygen, and I think I'm ready to go. We'll do a run up just because the altitude and the mixture is going to be all over the place once we get over to Alpha 4. You guys ready?
Yes.
All right, right rudder, left rudder checked. Full up, full down. Make sure this move. And left and right. Either one works. Initial altitude, let's call it. What's the terrain look like between here and there? What is the highest point between here and there? I'm seeing 14,000 over there, so we'll start at 12. Go west to get even. 12,500 for a VFR, and that would, in theory, require oxygen, but we're going to be there for a very short period of time, so I think we'll be alright, but we'll turn it on anyways, just in case. Okay, taxi lights, come on. We'll go ahead and turn those panel lights on since it is a little dark for you. And is everybody ready?
Yep.
Beautiful. Go ahead and do this left taxi. Head on over to Alpha 4. And we'll do a run up on Alpha 4.
This is so hard without charts. I take my Navigraph charts for granted.
Just go grab some
and you
charts
just
real fast.
Why is multiplayer so hard?
All right, I'm going to roll out onto the runway here and do the run up there so the nose is in the wind. Oh, these brakes are a little soft. Clear left, clear right. Running lights. Strobe light. And torpedo heat.
Oh, you appear in the middle of nowhere again. Thanks, Microsoft.
I don't know what your deal there is, but we're going to have to figure that out here in a minute.
Yep.
Come on. You were all eager to go until you weren't. Still here. Alright, prop is full. Let's bring it in to 1800 RPM. And let's go left mag. Back to both. Right mag. Legs are good. Let's go full power.
And you disappear. Fun.
And richen it up until the manifold pressure stops or starts to drop. Starting to drop there. That looks pretty good. Hello. Dev just rolled right through us. And I'm going to let him go. As soon as he's kind of out of the way, we're going to go full speed ahead.
Sorry, I didn't see you there.
That's fine.
Where are we headed to altitude-wise?
Initial altitude 12,500.
Okay.
A little bit of right aileron. Keep that wing level. And left rudder. 70, 75, and 80. Let's rotate.
This is so hard to get off the ground. Why does this thing not want to
Altitude.
pitch up?
Positive
It's so
rate.
bad here.
Gear up. We got to remember we're flying high altitude with a normally aspirated engine.
Yeah, my engine's already stalled out like 3 times on the ground here.
You got to get your engine
Oh, no.
tuned correctly. We're going to be heading to the west. Oop, there's a bump.
Oops.
Big bump, big vertical speed. Look at that. All right, mountain weather and the wind is sketch at best. And we'll go ahead and nose over for some speed and flaps up.
I just landed at negative 26,000 feet per minute somehow.
What?
I am upside down in a cornfield.
Well, that didn't take long.
Nope.
All right, let's take a look at our RPM here, and let's pull it back just a touch into the green. We'll leave it there until we hit cruise. Ooh, wow. That's rough. We picked a heck of a day to go flying in the mountains.
Be right back. Be like 2 minutes.
Squeeze every bit of RPM out of that as I can. Let's see, can we squeeze some more manifold pressure out of it? Nope. It's the best we're going to get right there. Let's watch those cylinder head temperatures as we climb out of here. We're climbing at 1,000 feet per minute, but just don't feel like it. Hey guys, like Sim Update 4. So far, so good.
It's pretty
Any
good.
issues with it yet?
It's caused my multiplayer to work itself somehow, and I don't know really how, but it's other than that, it's actually really performant.
Are you walking somewhere?
No, I'm on my laptop.
Oh. You're not flying anymore?
I'm gonna hear in a second. I'm trying to figure out what's up with this multiplayer though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just because we're climbing such a high performance, cylinder head temperatures are a little higher, but we're doing okay. And there goes 10,000. I'm just kind of staying to the right. I'm going to go up this valley right here so we get a better sight line for this VOR. Refamiliarizing myself with the items in this cockpit. Greetings from Lucky's Flying Service and Live Bait. Well, hello, Lucky's Flying Service and Live Bait. How are you? 11,000, 1.5 to go. Beautiful game, but feel like I'll fall asleep mid-flight. Am I wrong, or am I missing some excitement factor or something? You have to love aviation to love flight sim. I say the same thing about train simulators. I don't know why you would want to play that, but flight sim, if you actually try to follow real navigation, real world procedures, all that stuff in aviation, it's a real fun thing.
I need you to take back what you said about train sim.
Sorry?
I need you to take back what you said about train sim.
I don't understand it. But see, I'll happily go play farm sim.
Yes, same.
Maybe some other 2020 planes will work better too. I think that was part of the goal. Yeah, Joe, you know, I've got thousands of hours in flight sim, and I thoroughly enjoy doing real world procedures and flying on network, which is like a virtual ATC platform and things like that. And the community is great. Spending time with friends, and then you know, the challenge of getting this airplane through this weather in the mountains to the next airport using classic navigation. Used to fly out of the Rocky Mountains, Jefferson County. I love doing mountain trips. Oh yeah, it is so cool to fly in the mountains. Although with the winds we're having right now, this is going to be very interesting. I'm actually getting VOR2 in, but
the classic 737s, the 2020 versions work actually really well on some update 4.
I'm getting beat to death.
They fixed the APU bug somehow. So, if you're impatient like me, you can kind of get the 2020 737s to partially work in 24.
Get that flight director on. And let's go. Heading. And vertical speed. Whoa. And arm. Re-engage and arm. Oh, I got some icing. Oh, okay, that's why I didn't arm. I was already at 12,500. So let's get some autopilot on here. Get the defroster pull full. Let's go. While engaged, free up a hand here. And we can stay at full power, but we'll go and pull that throttle back to 2200. We'll worry about leaning it after we make sure the airplane's going to stay in one piece. We'll worry about all this icing we're encountering. Could get interesting really quick. And now my visibility's going to crap. Even better. Alright, so highest altitude. Oh man, it turned itself back on. Highest altitude in the vicinity of where we're supposed to be was around 11,312, so I'm not sure how well this is going to go. This is going very poorly weather-wise at the moment. Defroster's full on. Let's go. Let's just crank the heat up in this bad boy. Prop de-ice. And is that the only anti-icing I have in this aircraft? I think so. Other than the window.
I think there's boot de-ice, but I'm not sure.
Why are we climbing, airplane? Whoa. Let's go ahead and get that autopilot off. There's no boots on this plane. Alright, this airplane has got me way above where we're supposed to be. That might be part of the reason. Jesus. There we go. I'm getting thrown around like a ragdoll. Okay, I can kind of see a little bit here. Let's go ahead and engage our vertical speed, arm it. We're going to go down 500 feet per minute to 12,500. There we go. We're in heading mode. Trying not to let this thing kill me. It's trying really hard at the moment. This is getting entertaining. Re-engage it. All right, 12,500 is armed. I don't know what I did wrong there, but we had quite a bit of task saturation going on, so that is most likely what happened. I can leave it out just a touch here. Okay. Now we're looking better. As I stick my head out the window. 33.2 miles to go. That was fun. That got exciting real quick. And it looks like we got out of the icing at least. What is the temperature inside the cockpit? 65 degrees. Okay. And let's go ahead and turn that oxygen on so I can think a little straighter. Oh, the extra altitude probably helped keep us safe, although it did put us right into the weather there, so that got real interesting real quick. And hopefully this... Okay, it did not kick back on that time. So we're heading... Oh, okay. I see what happened there. So, you know, theoretically this line is not where we're going to be because we're going to be going straight to this VOR. I think I had it at 262, which means it's going to have us kind of down here, almost, you know, straight across to the west. So that's what got me there. Now, it's going to start opening up. I'm starting to see some of that ahead of us, so I imagine we are somewhere right around here. If I look around, you should be able to see you got this very open area right here. And then we should see a big road. We should be able to follow that big road straight into the airport. So if I were to adjust this to head into this VOR on 217, that would take us straight to the airport. And what I mean by that is we would want a 2, think of an arrow being drawn right here, on a heading of 217. So if I had dialed that in and flown straight toward that VOR, which would have put us in some higher terrains, the reason I didn't do that, we would have flown right over the airport. So I was really looking for this open valley right here, which we're seeing ahead of us. And we're going to try to find this road. Should be a peak, which I think that might be what we're seeing on the map right there. There should be a road right below us. That looks like a stream, and there's the road, I think. Alright. The LODs in Microsoft being as low as they are makes it a little hard to see sometimes from a distance. But, yeah, that, I believe, is the road right there. Beautiful. I love flying VORs. So we're going to do a little bit of a right turn here. I'm going to adjust the angle of attack here, and we'll say this road at this intersection would be approximately what? If you drew a line straight through that, that is 2.1, 2.2, 2.2 to 2.3. So if we move this to 2.2, 2.3, let's just call it 2.3, and just keep flying in between this gap right here. That should spit us out roughly around here. And it just depends on how far we got, but so answer Joe's question. This is the challenge that we just encountered. There is part of the reason why I love aviation. Problem solving. Let's get a visual on that road again. There it is. And off to the right, and that makes sense. So we're going to try to follow this road through here. Oops. A little more of a turn. It's cool. The ice in the windows and problem solving, maintain, get back on course. Yep. And obviously, you know, we're not flying with a GPS, so you can't see me anywhere on this map right now. We're just flying with VOR navigation, and a VOR is basically this guy right here is what we're flying to. And that's the frequency dialed in right here, the 114.9. And what I've set is a course for 2.3. So if you drew an imaginary line, you were flying to the VOR, which means you'd be coming from this direction up here on 230. It should spit us out about like this. So we'll keep following this road, which is another visual aid. And that should take us right to the city as well. Assuming I can maintain visual on the road. looks like it right there. And we got some more weather ahead of us here. So assuming we're down in this valley, we could actually drop down a couple thousand feet. Let's go down to 10,500. Let's arm our vertical speed. Start descending. 500 feet per minute. Oh, sorry. Hang on. Stand by. Engage. 500. And at this point, we've just got full power in. Since we're so high, it's not going to make full power. And then we got a 22,000 RPM, and we'll richen up the mixture just a touch here. I've not done an actual lean yet, so I'm kind of just guessing and looking at the temperatures, making sure they're okay. About 80 degrees or so Celsius on cylinder head temperature. Sorry, oil temperature and cylinder head temperature is below 200. So we're good. 21.4 miles. This is where the distance measuring tool would be so handy. Hang on, I'm gonna have to pull this up on my other screen here. So I get some more information on the full app. But this whole thing was 41 miles, so we're about halfway through. So if we're in this valley, Doyleville, that was that right turn I just saw, so this is a little further, so that makes sense. We're somewhere right around Doyleville right here, based off of my observations so far. Would that be a blinking light, like a tower of some sort? No, the VOR will not be. It is, I could pull up a picture of what they look like in the real world. You've probably seen one before. They're at a lot of airports. And if I open this image, new tab, and drag this over real fast, they look like this most of the time. So they'll be around airports, on top of mountains. When we head into Aspen in a little bit, it's on top of a mountain. And I don't know, is that the road? I think that's my road. Yeah, that's it right there. So it makes sense for us to be kind of heading on this westerly path. Magnetic west is actually, so we're kind of, is it kind of jet off to the right for us? Yeah. So there's a little dog leg right there. Where's that at? You see that little dog leg anywhere? Maybe here at Perrin. That's our right turn. Am I getting ahead of myself? What's our distance? 17 miles. So got this little dog leg right here. This little dog leg right here. There's a road behind us. Try not to poke my head out. Oh, yep, that's it right there. Okay, I think Doyleville, which is what we were, or I'm sorry, Parlin now. I think we're about right over Parlin. Little snake in the river stream right there. So maybe that. $15 miles from the VOR, so we're going to get to the airport in about. We should be able to see the airport somewhat soon. Oh, you know what? I see a blinking light out there. I thought I did. It may have just been weird glitches. So, worst case scenario, we should be able to fly to the VOR and then leave the VOR on a 217 course, and then 7 miles the airport will be there. So if we can't find it for whatever reason, we'll be able to do that. Although it should be right up in front of us here. I'm so upset with what they've done with the VORs in 24. Hello, Allie. How's it going? I'm going to do a slight right turn here. What's the winds at Gunnison? We've got 220 and the airport. No, let's do this instead. Do an overlay at 24. So we're going to land on 24. So pretty much should be a straight in. We'll swing out to the right just a touch here. So I'm thinking the airport's right around here. 12.3 miles to the VOR. And these LODs being so poor makes it so hard to find a runway sometimes. Upset with VORs in that way? What do you mean? I'm going to bring in some power on, I'm sorry, some RPMs. I mean, from a distance it looked like an airport, but I don't think it is. Oh, there it is. That is our airport right there. Beautiful. That's runway 22. So we're going to pull some power back. We go autopilot off, and we're going to do a little bit of a snaking turn here. You said you were upset with VORs and LODs. You see how the mountains get kind of like a blob versus right next to us is pretty sharp. 24 to increase performance for consoles. They made it so that the LODs are poor for PC users as well.
I can verify you said I'm not happy with what 2024 has done with VORs.
That's okay.
Just gonna put that
I will admit that I may have misspoke, but I was meaning VORs. I'm sorry, LOD. Yeah. See? Alright, we're within the white arc. Let's go flash one. Sorry, there's a lot going on there.
You're good. Yeah, I'm really tempted to see if map enhancement does anything with 24 and fixes its LEDs.
Oh, here. I'm going to keep my nose pointed real fast. Look at this crosswind pushing us to the right. That's crazy. Let's start our descent here. I'm dropping like a rock. Holy smokes. Guess I realized the gear's up. Go gear down. We're going to look for about 90 to 100 knots on the approach here. This thing got a parachute if needed. Nope, not this one. Where we're going, we don't need no stinking parachutes. We'll just crash into the side of the mountain. I'm going to land with just flaps, approach flaps, because this wind is so brutal at the moment.
No, this is an old aircraft. I don't think CAP systems were in place when this was in production, or this model was in production.
A lot of newer aircraft will have parachutes. There's 99.
Yeah, but
extra power. All right, 3 green, 1 red. A little touch high.
I don't think any of the legacy companies have implemented parachutes yet.
So what we're going to do on our departure is we're going to go direct HBU on 217. So let's dial in 217. And we'll figure out the rest from there. I'll go and land the airplane. Then we'll worry about that. Bring those over just a touch. Pull some power back. With the Moza, I have the autopilot following enabled, and it was kind of fun because when it was getting a little chaotic there with the icing, it was fighting me real hard. So, you know, I had that live, like, oh, it's all out of trim, it's all out of whack, the window's iced up. It was kind of fun to deal with. Touch low, speed's okay. Just pull back on the pressure. 1 gear, 3 green. Start engine that.
Hey, Cal's about to hop on his OTS. Wish him luck.
Oh, good luck, Cal. And we're just doing touch and go. Once this thing decides to stop floating. Nice and smooth. All right, let's bring that flaps up. Bring the power in smoothly. Prop and power is full. And rotate. Pause the rig, gear can come up. bit of rudder just to get us straightened out. And we're going to be leaving to the left here. How you doing, Eddie?
I'm good. Half mile behind you.
Beautiful.
Just pull the gear up.
And we'll go ahead and fly to HBU. And we're going to go 10.5 again. So let's engage vertical speed. And we're currently 12.5. It's armed. Let's go. Ladybug, flight director. Let's do that. And autopilot engaged. We should be able to arm nav mode. Oh, it's trying to go straight to it. No, we're close enough to this. It's trying to go straight to it. So we'll just go heading mode and then we'll bring it back in. Touch back on the RPM, get it out of the red. Temp check, 200 cylinder head, 85 on oil. We're good. And let's drop that vertical speed down 800 feet. Nope, not that far. 800. Beautiful. Alright, that one much smoother. Okay, now we can go to nav. Pull this back up. We are going to go to HBU. We are 4.6 miles away. Once we get there, we'll go back into heading bug. We'll heading bug on 267 and then leave HBU on 267 and head to MTJ. Snooze over just a little bit more. One to go. Miles to go. So about 2 miles out. We'll straighten this heading bug back up. And we're just going to match what this is doing because it's fighting a crosswind at the moment. And then once we get over the VOR, we'll do a right turn on 267. So once I go in the heading bug, we'll move the HSI over and watch the miles. Once we get roughly half a mile, we'll do a right turn. Mile to half a mile to a mile. And bring it back to 2,500 on RPM. You can climb out with full prop on the Bonanza, actually, according to the pilot handbook. However, I don't know how it's modeled with this thing, so we'll pull back just a touch. All right, big body of water off to our right, which is what we're going to be following. Visually at least. And about 1.8 miles out, so let's go heading. And then that'll take over with the heading bug, and then we're going to do the right turn to 267. Dev's favorite numbers.
What?
67.
67.
Oh my gosh, I thought we were over with this. Could we be done with this, please?
Never.
Oh, shoot.
You make me so annoyed.
Keep it a few degrees off. There's a big body of water we're following. I love flying with this kind of navigation. It's so much fun. It's so satisfying when it works. It sucks when you get stuck in this weird, like, I don't know where the heck I am fiasco. But you can always triangulate yourself out of the problem most of the time. I mean, worst case, you can tune a VOR in the area that you think you are, and then just you can turn the dial, your HSI or your OBS, whichever one you have, and figure out exactly what direction you're from there. So, okay, we can go to nav mode, and it should do a correction to the right. Should be a pretty quick correction, being only 1.3 miles away from the VOR. And power's full. We are 10,500. Let's go ahead and pull the prop back to 2,200. And we've got a bit of a cruise here, so 41 miles. And we're going to do a lean find. Start leaning that engine out until the underhead temperatures peak. Sorry, the EGTs peak. exhaust gas temperatures. Roughly around 1400 usually. This altitude. And it should say lean established. There it goes. And then you'll want to richen it back up just a touch. It gives us our lean. So we've got our cruise power set. And we're on track. So we're leaving HBU. So you'll see this little arrow down here. So that means it's behind us, but we're tracking on 267. So we're somewhere right about here. And it's nice when you can look out the window and say, hey, there's that big body of water. That looks about right. Now we're going to keep crossing off to the right of the body of water here, straight to our next airport. And according to the charts, there's going to be some terrain near the airport, which we can avoid if we want to, but just we could follow the... Honestly, we could just follow this river all the way in until we get to this substation down here. But we'll track out the VOR for now. However, that does mean we should probably climb a touch, but I got rain off my nose there, so it's a difficult decision, right? We're above the highest point I see around us, but at the same time, it's only about like 700 feet.
You can track visually through a canyon.
Yep. We may be forced to do that, so I think we're going to have to fly through the canyon here. So we're going to go back to heading bug.
I want to see you VOR through a cannon with zero visibility.
Like a submarine.
Let's do it. You know I'm always up for a challenge.
I regret sending this now.
Okay, the next VOR is going to be MJT, so if we're going to be visual through this canyon here, which will get us almost all the way there, we'll go ahead and tune in MJT, which was 117.1, right there. Swap that over. And because we're going to be coming in just a hair to the south of what our track was, we are probably going to be more along the lines of what's this say showing here? Maybe closer to 27. We'll just say 270. So direct west. And we'll just heading bug through this valley right here. It's pretty cool because to see where we're at, you know. Essentially right about here. We're over the big body of water, which you can't really see up the airplane too well, but you see where it kind of spits off to the left right here, puts us about right here, and then the weather for us looks pretty clear through there. There's some rain off to the right, but not too concerned about that. And this headwind is killing our speed right now. Cabin is at 122 Fahrenheit. How can you take that heat? Oh, yeah, it's because we were trying to defrost everything earlier. So I'm keeping the ice at bay. And the sauna has really good health benefits. It's really good for your cardiovascular system. Sometimes you just got to be in a sauna. But we'll lower that for everybody's comfort. I'm just making stuff up now. No, well, I mean, technically the sauna is actually good for your health. But I just forgot the temperature is really high. I'm worried about not crashing the airplane.
Just going to be buying the 737s when they come out tomorrow.
See, I mean, I'm probably going to go ahead and buy it. I'm really curious to see what they price it at, though.
I am too. If it's something stupid, I'm not getting it.
Yeah, you will.
I don't actually think well, yeah, probably eventually at some point. I probably actually won't pick it up till Friday anyways. But we'll see.
Oh, what do you have there, buddy? Hang on. I've got to figure out what the first officer's got. He was he's not too happy. He was not out too much yesterday. I thought the girls would be home by now.
Never mind, I gotta feed the dogs. Crap.
It's supposed to be discounted if you had 2020.
It's supposed to be.
Well,
But
I'm
we'll
curious
see
to
what that actually means.
Yeah, they have been very reluctant to tell us anything about the actual pricing, so.
And I am not too confident about the aircraft being in 2024 yet. We'll see. I just kind of feel a little suckered.
Okay, let's do a little bit of a heading bug through the valley here. This is where I want to right click and get say, hey, what is this angle? I mean, what I can do is, oh, you can't do it in the tablet. Jeez. Okay, so, oops. Pull this over real fast and do it this way. So I can add this substation. Add to route, and then we want it to be before MJT. And what? Oh, see, oh, I already know I was pretty much there. I don't know why that turns that on every time. Thought I, oops. Ugh, graph. We're going to talk. This will give us 273. I was trying to get this angle without, cheating. It gives us an angle of 273 to MJT. So what that'll allow us to do is come down here. 1, 2, 3, and then do our slight right turn, and that'll get us basically that top of that substation right there straight to the airport. Should be able to go nav mode here very shortly. This wind is killing our speed. It should get a little better here in a moment when we go north. We're gonna have crosswind to deal with, but we should get should pick up some ground speed. I'm hesitant to go to nav mode until we get past this little peak right here, the Black Mesa, because this is one of the taller items. It's 10,000 feet, which is right below us. So we're gonna continue straight and wrap to the right of that Black Mesa, and the area off to our left is going to be 9716 as well. But we can keep kind of following the stream out as well too. Did you get back in the airplane, Dev?
No, my sim won't even launch now, so I've just given up.
What?
Yeah. I'm gonna do a reinstall tonight, I think.
Yeah, it sounds like that's what you need to do.
It's so easy, it's worth it than trying to spend hours figuring out what's the issue.
Yep. Okay, we've got 17 miles to go. I feel comfortable going to nav mode here. Is there any questions you have, Dev? Is this making sense?
I know how to do VORs. I just have always had trouble with it in MSFS. Just making it work the way it should. Because I always just feel like I'm always off the VOR track.
Well, I am off when I'm going between two different VORs.
Okay, that's the issue I have in MSFS. It works fine in X-Wing.
But I've never not been able to fly over top of VOR.
Okay. For me, when I'm looking at Navigraph, I'm just sometimes like not over VOR.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I
a
did
couple
talk
miles
to
off the
Navgraph
lip.
about that.
Okay, so that's not me being dumb. That's just a
It's a problem with Navgraph.
thing. Okay.
Or
Yeah,
Microsoft.
yeah, I know
one of the two.
DVRs. I mean, the 747-200 is completely VOR based when it comes to arrivals and departure, so I'm pretty decent at that.
Okay. And eventually our altitude's going to be down at 6,000 feet, so we can go ahead and descend a little bit here. It's pretty clear in front of us, so we're going to go 8,500. It's engaged vertical speed, start dropping 500 feet per minute, and arm. And we're going to have to richen up that engine a touch. We'll look for about 1,300 on this, the EGTs there. Okay. This compass bouncing all over the place. Why are you doing that? Alright, so we are tracking to Mike Tango Juliet on 273. And 12 miles to go. So we should be able to start getting a visual on the airport somewhat soon. Let's go ahead and change that altitude to 7,500. And we're going to have to speed that up a touch. Let's go 800 feet per minute. And we're below 10,000. Oxygen back off. Picking up some ground speed now. Approaching the airport VOR at 157 knots. Holy crap, the amount of telemarketing scams that I get per day these days is insane. I get 20 phone calls a day anymore. And it just all of a sudden got really bad. So somebody somewhere has my information. Which is great.
Isn't there an 800 number you can call to opt out of that crap? I never get them.
Maybe.
I think there is. It's
really
like,
annoying. So.
Yeah, there's a nationwide no call list, but I don't know what that number is anymore. I used to have it.
And we're quickly approaching the airport here. The weather.
So I'm really petty, and there's this act called the CAN Spam Act, which has to have a one-click unsubscribe for emails, non-transactional emails. And when a company does not do that, and they keep sending me emails, I will not hesitate to report them and send them a cease and desist. And then also report them to their domain TLD or their domain registrar. When I'm feeling petty, I will do that, and I have done it multiple times.
That's fine.
That's going to be dangerous in college.
Really?
Let's go ahead and do a left turn, 210 here, heading bug. Let's pull some more power back, start slowing down. Push it up just a touch more. And charts. Overlay at 307. Set. Setting right over just a touch more. And that, since that VOR is right at the end of the runway we're going to be landing on, we should be able to get a pretty good line of sight there on that. And which makes me wonder, is there an ILS we could shoot for the fun of it? 3-1 does not have any sort of navigation, so we're just going to go with VOR. Should be coming in relatively soon too. Drop the gear, help slow us down some more. And we're visual. I'll pop it off. back to full RPM. That nav track's coming in beautifully. Approach flaps. And bring some power back in since we're slowing too much. Keep it around 100 knots on the approacher. Oh, nice. My honeycomb heading bug works. Beautiful. Okay, so we'll depart here on runway heading, and then we're going to depart MJT on 358. Just a touch, 2 degrees left of north. No pappies, but I feel a touch low. Bring a little bit of power. Gear check 3 green. Lights are on. And we can go ahead and turn our prop de-ice off for now. Bring in a little bit of trim. Long runway here, so we can keep it 90 on the approach. Looking good, about 500 feet per minute on the descent rate. You know, I mean, I wish I could compare this to X-Plane right now, because I feel like X-Plane right now might look a little better in some aspects. Some of these buildings look much better than X-Plane has to offer, but like I'd be able to see some better ground visuals with map enhancement. The trees wouldn't look as fluffy though. Let's inch back the power a touch. We're looking good. No pappies, no anything to go off of, so we're just going off what's out the front window at the moment. Getting that turbulence we always get at the end of the runways in Microsoft. And inch back to idle on the power. Idle. And perfect. Go flaps up. Bring power back in. A little bit of nose pressure just to help with the trim. Full power. Everything checks good. 80 knots. Rotate. Let's correct that nose. Positive rate. Gear up. And we're going to depart runway heading until we hit this VOR, which is now behind us. That was behind us. It was on the ground back there. I don't know if you can see it. There it is, right there. There's the VOR. Easy right turn, nose over for some speed, and we go ahead and get those flaps up. Hit the cheat button for the altimeter, just to make sure to adjust it for local. So because we're not right over that VOR, we're gonna have to. I'm using my hands, and I know you guys can't see me. Swoop out and back around to the right. Okay, we can pull the RPM back to 2.5. And Eddie is off to go watch Survivor. Good luck, Eddie. Hopefully your player wins. Looking at the front window, we've got some clouds ahead of us, so I'm going to go ahead and hit that prop de-ice. Defroster full. We'll deal with the sauna in the aircraft if we need to. But we got to get over that. What is
Survivor?
It's a game show TV where they like, go to like islands and have to survive at the same time. They do challenges to compete against each other, and they have to like, vote their own members off. There's 2 teams. They go head to head in challenges, and the losing team has to vote somebody out of their clan and their team. I haven't watched it in a long time, so it may be a little different now, but that's what I remember. Whoop, we shot through the VOR just a touch there.
That sounds indispensably boring.
Yeah, let's go nav mode for the flight director. And we are at 7,700. It's gone up to 10.5. Engage the vertical speed. Arm the vertical speed. And let's go 800 feet per minute. And this should correct itself momentarily. I do love the textures in the sim these days. Look at that. You get the shadows off the gauges. That's so cool. Gosh, MSFS and X-Plane just need to have a baby.
Seriously. We'll never get that, though.
I just pray that this next gen next gen scenery, wow, that X-Plane's touting is going to be as good as they.
Yep.
As good as their weather engine. If they can make it as good as their weather engine, it's going to be incredible.
Yep.
Because they knock the weather out of the park. Does anybody in the chat? I got quite a few of you there. Anybody need help with VORs and understanding what we're doing here? And it's still wanting. You can see the flight director still wanting me to turn left. It's trying to get us on this track. But I'm kind of shooting the gap right here. I'm not sure what the winds are doing, but you should see this start leveling off here in a moment. It'll touch slow, so let's drop it down to 600 feet per minute. Might be dealing with a crosswind that's not getting me there. Oh, there it goes. So, we're looking pretty good. Let's go autopilot engaged. Nav is already set. And I bet what we're fighting is that crosswind we've been having as a headwind. So now we're heading north. So we're leaving MJT to the north. You can see how much of a crosswind we've got going on here. So leaving on 357. Correction, 358. You can see the gap difference here. So we're going to heading bug over just the. We ever have to go heading bug, and we've got 62 miles to go. So since we're leaving MTJ, you should see this number right here increase. The next one's going to be RIL, which is 11335. And here's where Dev was talking about a minute ago. So what's going to end up happening is we're going to be offset a little bit in Microsoft. I don't know why it does such a big difference in Microsoft. I haven't messed with it too much in X-Plane. But we'll have to do a little correction when we get about 30 miles into this flight leg. And it'll you'll see when we swap over. So 11335. Let's go ahead and set our secondary nav source to that. And we'll be able to see when we get that VOR in range. I don't know if RIL is a long or short range. I don't have it in here. RIL is where physically? Should be right at the airport here. There it is. So if we click on that, we can gather some information. It is a... it doesn't say. Oh, because I clicked on the airport. I need RIL. Okay, we'll do this. Drag this back over. Rifle. Low altitude, so the range will be about 30-40 miles. So I imagine we'll see this kick in when we get roughly 20 to 30 miles into this. So the altitude that we need to be at, these peaks look to be some of the highest. 11.2 seems to be the highest altitude we need to go to. That's not what I meant to do. So let's go to 12.5. Vertical speed back up. Engage. Arm, we'll do 500 feet per minute. And let's do a quick check of temperatures. Full temps a little above 80, not too bad. Sanitary temperature is 200, so we're good. And exhaust temp is 1262, so we are rich enough for the climb. And we can pull a little bit of cabin heat. keep it warm in here. It's 61 degrees currently. Let's go oxygen on. So we're about to hit 10,000 feet. Do we have any sort of fun approaches here? So let's go open airport. The weather at Rifle Garfield. Altimeter is 2981. Go ahead and dial that in just to get ahead of the game a little bit. A little bit of rain ahead of us. .5 miles. I expect this to jiggle around and give us a little arrow to show that it's got it's got a lock on the VOR here in the next 10 miles or so. We'll just take another glance at the altitudes of these mountains just because we do have a bit of weather ahead of us. That is a little concerning over there. That is also concerning. We might actually want to consider higher. We'll see what the weather's like here in a moment, but I don't want to get too high because we were picking up ice and the temperature is below freezing at the moment. So once we get into this stuff right here, we may pick up some ice again. We should be roughly 1,000 feet above any terrain that's a concern. Are these little buildings down here like huts? Or what are they? They're all like right next to little ponds. Must be a bunch of buildings. I bet this is really cool up here. 10,000 feet with a bunch of ponds and houses and stuff. And 1 to go in the altitude. Well, now we're at 500 feet to go. How many airports left? We've got 2 more. We got Rifle, and then we'll be heading over to KASE, Aspen. Oh, look at that. That looks really good right there. Let's take a screenshot. Should be leveling off, and we'll get some speed back. Just got to be wary of icing. We do have the defroster and the prop de-ice on, as well as the PO heat. So those items will be good. The wings are my concern. I don't have any icing, anti-icing on the wings.
Yeah.
What's up, Cameron? You gonna join us on the stream?
I'll probably watch y'all, but not join. I've been having minor issues with my phone similarly.
Ah, gotcha. Hey, look at
Figured
that.
out.
What'd I say? Between 20 and 30 miles, we'll get the VOR, and we've got it. So what that means is we can go ahead and go over to heading. And here's that offset I was talking about. We're going to have to traverse to the... well, let me correct that. It may not be as bad as... it's actually pretty close. Let's... oh, what I just flipped. Oh, RNAV computer. No need there. Worry about that one. Let's go into heading mode. Let's swap over to 11335, and it actually has us just a touch to the left, so we can inch back over. We've got that crosswind, so we're not going to have to cut the gap like we normally would here. Allow that to push us over. And we can lean it again. I'm just going to do a quick lean, direct lean to 13.5 on the EGTs. We'd have a little bit more power if I'd chose the turbo or the supercharged, but decided to get a little underperformance just for the fun of it. There's those tall mountains I was worried about. We are theoretically 1,000 feet above those. And it looks like we should be able to visually see them once we get closer, so I'm not too worried. Alright, the next VOR is going to be red table 1130. And we'll go ahead and tune that in. And that one's probably high altitude since we just picked it up. Oh, it doesn't show us on here for whatever reason. I don't know why it doesn't show us that information. And assuming the visibility is good in Aspen, we'll do the visual approach down through the valley here. And I've got a fun video that I need to edit tomorrow, where Dev and I did the shared cockpit and the Challenger on VATSIM, and we got some really interesting vectors around the airport to the south and to the east of it. Why is that taking forever to load?
It was
Come on.
so fun.
It was a ton of fun. And then the visual approach into Aspen and a jet is a blast.
They did something really wonky with us, which I'm not sure if you want me to say or not, with landing.
Yeah, it was really interesting on the landing. They sent an airplane out, and if you're not familiar with Aspen, I think close enough to go in that mode. If you're not familiar enough with Aspen, it's one way in, one way out. So you have to land in the opposite direction you take off. So anybody departing the airport departs to the arrivals. So we had somebody fly within half a mile of us on the departure, or on their departure on our arrival. And that's the closest I've ever been to an opposing aircraft on VATSIM on purpose. That was really entertaining. So this whole leg was 62 miles, so we are approaching halfway. 31 miles will be halfway. Correction, since we swapped over, we're actually beyond halfway now, so we're at 28 miles to go. These ponds at this elevation are crazy. I wonder what fishing is like at this kind of elevation. I've never fished at a pond this high up in the altitude. Go ahead and swap tanks because I forgot to do that earlier. And the right tank should take us through the rest of the flight. You can see the airplane getting some downdraft since fighting it there. Okay, if we get caught in a downdraft on this next mountain, we're going to do an immediate right turn, and we'll wrap around the mountain right here. If we can't get out of it. So with mountain flying, the downdrafts can be a killer. This thing's got some good performance to it, but it'll be an immediate full power, full prop, and autopilot off, and then we'll just dive down the mountain if we have to get the speed we need to get back up. The way we're tracking, we're really going this direction, so we're going to be right, probably just to the right side of this peak right here, and I think that peak we're looking at is this 11,236 elevation, so we're a little more than 1,000 feet over top of it. And this next airport's actually got a pretty high elevation to it as well. Or no, it doesn't. Whatever. What is the airport here? Yeah, we're going to drop 5,000 feet real fast. Okay. The weather at the airport currently has 250 at 4. The approaches that they have, we've got an ILS on the 26 we can play with. So once we get over the terrain, we can swing out to the right and practice this ILS right here. We should be able to see the road and power lines and train tracks. Over in Glenwood Springs, so we kind of want to target that. 20 miles to go, so I'm guessing it's right over this hill. So we're starting to get into this right here, I believe. There's so many of these little ponds, it's real hard to figure out which one's which. Look at this giant cloud. This is about as close as you could get and stay VFR without having to basically go instruments only. Okay, so it's going to be a very quick descent here, so what I'll probably end up doing is we'll slow up, drop the flaps, and descend down to that valley once we start getting into this valley. What I could go ahead and do is, since we're going north, I could go ahead and do a right turn for, let's just call it 45 degrees, so. And we'll dial in that ILS and start flying towards that. Let's go ahead and bug. It's going to put us right into that cloud a little bit for a moment, not too big of a deal. We're going to pretend we got ILS, or IFR clearance. So we're 45 degreeing off of the VOR, which is at the airport. So you'll see this rate, the rate that we're closing in on the airport descent decrease quite a bit. We should pop through this cloud very quickly. And once we got a visual on the ground again, we will start figuring out what we're doing for this ILS. Let's pull that chart back up. And grab that frequency, 1109er. Oh, 1109er. Pop that up. There we go. And we're going to want to be at 10,300, so not too bad. We'll stay at this altitude for now until we get through these mountains. And Wookley is 12.7 miles away, so we're going to want to stay at least, actually 14 miles right there is pretty close, so I'm going to heading bug over just a touch more so we don't get too close to that. Let's go 070. What I'm doing is I'm trying to keep us heading in this direction so that we're about, we want to be about 13 miles right here at Wookley. Yeah, I'm starting to be able to see the ground again. Not seeing any icing on the wings, which is fantastic. 14.5, so there we go. The glide slope just came in. And I don't know what the terrain right here looks like. I'm afraid to go too far down. I'd rather stay high until we can get a visual. Right now we're way above the glide slope. Which is a better thing to be when you can't see the ground than below it. And hopefully we can pop out of this. Otherwise we're going to have to get a little creative. So we're heading, looks like we're heading a little to the right of Wookley, which is not a bad thing. It'll give us a little bit more time to get on that approach. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and dial on this 258. 276. 12. And that kind of gives you an idea of what we're doing. So we're almost tracking, real far this direction right now. So we're kind of on almost a downwind. So we can turn left a little bit here. We don't get too far away. And Dev, I've got something if you don't take care of it on Twitch there.
So what's been new with you, Knock?
Oh, staying busy. I just got on vacation for the rest of the year, though. Okay, that small cloud turned into an enormous cloud, so we may be on a full ILS approach here, so this is going to be interesting. So, Jig'em has us at 11.1. And Jig'em is roughly 14, 15, 16 miles away or so. So let's go ahead and turn in towards that just a touch. 030. But distance was increasing pretty quick. We're kind of doing a little bit of a serpentine here. May have gone a little too far to the right. That's the fun of this. But theoretically, now that we're 17.6 miles away, we should be able to head straight north. And let's go ahead and use our second OBS here. So it's tuned to 1130. Let's tune that to 1109er. And what I can do is I can kind of figure out what degree we are from the airport. Should go the other direction apparently. Well, maybe. North. 1109er. Why is that not changing any whatsoever? Because the course should be 258. Oh, hang on, we got something there. I'm just moving it too fast. Yeah, I was just moving it too fast, looks like. Oh, you know what? That's an ILS. That's never going to give us a distance or an angle. I need to really be on 11335. Should know better than that. That should give us a much better depiction of the angle to that VOR. Okay, there we go. So we are roughly 285 to the airport. So 285. So we're somewhere right around here. And as this gets closer to that 258, we're going to want to start getting a 90-degree turn on this HSI here, because we're still increasing our distance. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's get a 90-degree turn. That way we're heading straight towards a left. We're on the left base, basically, for runway 226. As this keeps getting closer, we can kind of gauge. So we're at a little too past 2.7, so we're about like this from the airport. When this gets to 265, we'll probably want to do our descent. And get down to 10.3. The terrain in this area should be well below that now. Check the wings, we've got a little bit of icing. Let's go down to 10.3. Engage the vertical speed, arm it, start descending. Pull some power back. What we'll see is this will come in really rapidly unless we do a preliminary turn here. So 2.6. 258. We should see that glide slope coming up. Okay, the glide slope's up, so let's chill the vertical speed down. And we can turn to the left a little bit here. We should be able to capture approach right there. Approach mode. It should capture the glide slope. We are 18.6 miles out. We're somewhere around Jiggum. Yeah, between Jiggum and Zelp, I think. Alright, this captures the glide slope. Beautiful. Ah, love it. Alright, so since we're on the glide slope, we can go ahead and pre-select our altitude for 14,000 for the go-around, just in case we can't see the airport. But we are on approach and glide slope. Just gonna make sure we're continuing to descend, which we are at the moment. 17.8 miles. So we should be at Jiggum 14.5 miles at Jiggum. And it should be at 11,100 feet. Approach coupled glide slope. Awesome. Oh, this is an unexpected ILS adventure, and we got some icing to contend with as well. Yeah, we go ahead and turn oxygen off. Prop. Full touch of power. Whoa, the wind or that speed plummeted there. There's 10,000. Sorry, 11,000. So 11,100. We're at Jiggum. It's about 15.5 miles. Starting to be able to see the ground again. That's good. Let's watch that speed. Okay, I can mostly see the ground. So at least we're not going to smack into anything. Oh. A little extra power. I really just want the exhaust gas temperature to know. And I think I see the runway. There. Look at that. That's cool. Love it when that happens. Are you going to tune in the ILS frequency? It is 1109er, so we're already on it. So the ILS frequency is this number right here. We are on 1109er and nav mode, and we got the approach. It's coupled, and we got the glide slope. So right there is the runway right ahead of us. Do a quick fuel check. Still need to stay on the right tank, and it looks like the icing is off our wing. Beautiful. Okay, go around. The procedure for this airport is climb straight out 14,000 feet and then head to Tech Goo. We'll just self-vector on a left base, left downwind, and come back around if we need to. But I think with the length of runway we're dealing with, we'll be okay. We're going to go ahead and do that anyways on our touch and go. We'll do a... Actually... Looking at the terrain, a right turn would be better. Be a little safer. Okay, we can slow back up. Get down to the wide arc speed so we can drop approach flaps. And then we'll leave here on a heading of 089. I'm going to use the honeycomb, it's a little faster. So 09er, there's 89. And then the next altitude, DBL recommends like 13,000 feet, so we'll head up to 12.5 and we should be able to turn right before DBL and head down the valley to Aspen. Let's go approach flaps. Let's check out the speed here as those flaps traverse. Sorry, I was trying to read the chart on your screen. Oh, no problem. Yeah, I know, it's a little... I increased the scale, but unless I zoom in real far. This would be a really cool place to live. Pretty cool though when you pop out of the clouds like that, especially in VOR navigation. And you are exactly where you expect to be. Nope, let's watch that speed. I heard that RPM come up. It must be the wind bumping us around a little bit here. And about 5 miles out, we'll go gear down. It's awful windy. You can see this thing getting rocked around. Ooh, look at that. I'm going to keep my hand on the yoke here just in case it kicks us out of autopilot. There's 5.9 miles. Let's go ahead and go gear down. Get my screenshot. Alright, autopilot off. Props full, temps are good, mixture's alright. We're gonna touch power. Getting blown all over the place. Gear check, 3 green, gear down, leave it down. Approach flaps. We'll keep landing with the flaps 1 for now. At Aspen will probably be flaps 2. Speed. Power back in. Caught something there that killed our speed. Correcting. We're still relatively stable, no problem. Hopefully smooth that a little closer as we get a little closer. I'll start slowing up a little better. I like how the pappies are just one red and one green. We got a touch trim. I used to fly in the Glenwood Springs for 3 days. I'm playing a mountain golf course. Oh, I bet that was awesome. 90. Probably want to be closer to 80 over the numbers. There's 80 over the numbers. And idle power. Oh, a little too hard of a flare. Oh, we kind of screwed that up a little bit. We got plenty of runway to fix it though. Nice and easy. Flaps are up. Bring the power in nice and smooth. A little bit of nose pressure, just keep that nose down until we get some speed. 80, rotate. Positive rate and gear up. And we're going to do a right turn. 089er. I should probably be using the fuel pump on those approaches. And we'll do a right turn. Right back to 25. And this next leg, I think we're going to be want to be around 13,000 feet. So we'll do 13.5 actually. Gauge, heading. Sunset's beautiful. And let's go autopilot engage. Alright, we need to be tuned into RIL, which is 11335. Swap this back over. And we're departing on that 089er. Heading bug on over to it. Looks like we're going to be right back into those clouds. Curious what the visibility in Aspen is. So if we get rid of this chart, peaks I'm seeing 13,000 to keep us safe. So we're at 8,000 right now. I want to keep an eye on that mountain right there just because of where we're at. It's going to be really tight though right through there. So let's favor a little bit extra of vertical speed here over horizontal. Put us right back in there. We'll do a fuel tank check here. Yeah, we'll keep it on the right tank. Right tank confirmed. Got a little. I'm not used to flying an airplane that had swap tanks, so I kind of forgot to. And we'll just very carefully watch that airspeed. Once we get above 10, we're probably okay at the moment, but once we get above 10, I'll feel a little better. we're somewhere out in Glenwood Springs here, where Lucky used to go golfing. There's a soaring area out here. That's cool. And the ridge that I'm seeing, we're still pretty close to this. I guess I'm looking at this area right here, maybe. We should be just to the left of that, so it should be okay. And so 11,000 feet will make me feel much better. I know I said 10, but 11 is probably the better number. So we're about to be on IMC, and I'm losing the tops of these mountains, so it's a little unnerving. I'm going to go ahead and bump that RPM up, just try to get every bit of performance I can out of this thing. See if we can't carry on 1,000 feet per minute while we got this lower density altitude and oxygen come back on. Alright, so we've got a real tuned in rifle, and then we're going to be heading to the DBL. DBL's frequency 1130. And we could probably go ahead and capture that. Yes, we can. Okay. So let's go ahead and swap over to it. And that shows us that we can go ahead and probably go straight into nav mode here. Give her that glide slope indication. A little correction. And now we're heading straight to red table. Let's drop that vertical speed down. We're at 100 knots. Getting bumped around quite a bit here. 10,500 feet, so getting close to being comfortable. The terrain that we're really worried about is pretty far away from us still. So we're 30 miles away from red table. Still, so we're roughly right around here. And I'm expecting icing once again. Outside air temperature is just below freezing. Hasn't been too bad so far, so. Let's go take a look at KASE. Weather there is showing VFR 360 at 9. Ooh. So we're gonna have a tailwind landing here. That's gonna be fun. I'm also curious if we're gonna even be able to see. We may have to pull on an approach plate here on the localizer and dive in over the top of the mountain there. We are coming up on 12,000 feet. Drop this down to 600 feet per minute. If we shoot past DBL, there's a problem there. But everything between here and there should be safe. Should be, and the visual conditions that we currently have are very two uncertain words. Pull the approach plates up. Get the localizer DME. So the visual is really, there's an RNAV, but we're not GPS enabled at the moment. So we can head towards DBL. How does this work? I get the localizer 11115. And that'll be a course of 151. And got one to go in altitude. Not picking up ice at the moment. Maybe just a touch. I see city below us. But we'll be heading direct to red table. when we get closer, we'll probably want to be on 244. No. What's the opposite of 244? So about 254? Or 54. Just a few more 100 feet to go, and we'll be at our cruise altitude. Temperatures are good. Old temperature's a little warm, but not too bad at the moment. Now, this visibility is terrible. Not going to be able to make it to Aspen, but love this GA video. Check out your channel. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. You can should be able to catch the end of this later after we're done if you want to watch the rest of it. I'm streaming for an hour and 53 minutes if you wanted to pick it up for where you just left off. Okay, we're at cruise. Let's go ahead and pull the power back to 2.2. Sorry, RPM back to 2.2. The 2.2. I don't have the greatest airspeed, which is interesting. And we are only 15 miles from DBL, so very curious to see what this looks like. This is going to be very challenging if this weather doesn't clear out. Because we are, it's not very far from DBL there, and we're going to want to join that localizer. And then at Jargu is 113.5 Ajax. Jargu is the, okay, we want to head towards Jargu, which is almost exactly where we're heading anyways. We're going about, oh, we just picked up the localizer. Beautiful. So we're definitely flying into Aspen in conditions that we probably shouldn't be flying into Aspen with. But if this visibility is like this in front of us shortly, then I think we'll be okay, but it's going to be very challenging. I'm wondering if we hit lens here, kind of wrap into a visual. So once we're about, I wish I had a distant measuring tool once again. If I overlay this, lens is about where we're at, actually. So let's think this through. So 151 this way. Currently what from that localizer? Am I just moving that too fast? Interesting. Very weak signal. Surprised I don't have a better signal. It is 1115, right? 1115. Final approach course 151. I'm surprised I don't have that yet. If best thing to do is probably do a left turn out of here. Oh, wait a minute. We just lost our nav source. What's going on there? Oh, we just shot through it. Okay, so let's do a left turn. We're going to exit to the left here. There's some terrain that is dangerously close, as you can see out the window, but we're safe over it. And we should be able to do a visual down into this valley right here. So I'm doing a left turn, basically right here in front of a DBL. We're going to keep doing a left turn and try to get back on the 151. So let's go ahead and tune this over. We want this to be 151. Keep doing that left turn. So we're heading opposite now, so we're heading to the north, continuing to do our turn. I am going to risk it for the biscuit because, you know, flight sim. Let's say once we get back on that nav track, if I can keep the mountains and visual, we'll follow that localizer on in for 151. This is definitely not an approved real world procedure. Bring that prop in. Alright, so we did a loop. We're heading back towards the localizer here. We got that 10,861 altitude. That's kind of the worry that we have. We'll pull just a touch power back. I can't hardly see the ground, which is really sketchy. Coming in to the south. All right, I'm gonna go autopilot off and bit of a visual of the terrain ahead of us. Whoa, holy crap. Maybe I should have kept that on. Holy smokes. Now we're going to climb again. I'm getting rocked here. Very disorienting. Keeps diving us down. In these downdrafts. Getting rocked real hard here. I'm surprised I don't have that localizer yet. Should be coming in really soon though. Pretty sure that's where the airport. There's the airport. Beautiful. Okay. We're white speed. We're gonna have to drop like crazy here. We'll go ahead and go gear down, full flaps. And we're gonna drop down. Try to keep an eye on those lights right there. Wow, that was really sketchy. That might be one of the sketchiest things I've ever experienced in the sim. As long as I can see those lights, we're safe. And we're real ton of drag. Aspen's already, you know, a challenging place to get into. Get rid of GPS capabilities, it gets even more challenging. At least I have visual reference now, and I'm not getting rocked back and forth so hard. I can't see directly in front of me, but I know that it's somewhat safe just over the, as long as we're stay to the side of the road. Okay, I'm starting to be able to see again. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Yeah, we shot through that localizer at some point, but I don't really care at the moment. We're gonna do a little S-turn to get into Aspen and go kiss the ground after that fiasco. That was crazy. We're gonna do a left turn here, do a little serpentine back and forth, get that altitude down. Oh, we're diving over. That was what was underneath us this entire time. That's so scary. We can follow this valley up over here. Aspen is VFR, but there's no way they would let you fly into that with the cloud layer that where it's at without a you know, a better navigation system than what we have. Well, that almost fell apart there at the end. We managed to salvage it. Look at that tailwind. This is going to be really interesting. Because we got a ground speed of 95 knots indicated. We've got at least a 15 knot tailwind at the moment. Because I'm flying straight. And we're inching towards the airport there. I knew that was going to be exciting, but I didn't realize it was going to be that exciting. Okay, we got a tailwind, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go to approach flaps, nose over, get a little speed back. We're going to land pretty hot, but we got good brakes on the long runway for this airplane, so. Glide slope. Prop's good, mixture's good. A lot of power because I'm getting knocked around like crazy right here. I want the airspeed to punch through it. Crazy updraft. Man, this has been a challenge. Oh, look at that downdraft. Oh, wow. That just about killed us. Holy crap. Gear check, 3 green. And I'm gonna go kiss the ground. And braking, we'll exit Alpha 4. Oh, that was sketchy. That entire thing was sketchy. The thing is going, this airplane has a little bit of power behind it. All the conditions we should not have landed in Aspen in, but we made it. And of course, 2024's LODs suck.
Suck so bad.
Did you see that?
Oh, I saw it and I was disappointed.
Disappointed in which part? Oh, there's a forklift in the middle of the taxiway. Where are you
It just looked like
disappointed?
mush.
Oh, I was talking about the entire arrival.
Oh, sorry. I'm talking about the LODs.
Okay, we're gonna go park at the cabin and go kiss the ground. Because that was probably one of the sketchiest approaches I've ever done in my life. Hello, Atlantic. I've never been so happy to see you. Oh, we made it. Woo, okay. It looks good from down here. It does not look good at 13,000 feet. Alright guys, I think we may be back tomorrow night. We're going to be doing an event on VATSIM with crew from Indy Center. It sounds like the girls are home. I hear the dogs going nuts. And anyways, I'm going to catch you guys probably tomorrow. And if not, we'll be back on Sunday for sure. And until then, guys, happy fun.